What's good, everybody? Today we're diving into the legacy and impact of an individual whose work mesmerized young audiences worldwide. Through his legendary animated series Dragon Ball, which emerged in the mid-80s, Akira Toriyama captured the imaginations of countless children and teenagers, myself included. With the series still held in high regards with no signs of slowing down, it was a shock to the world when news broke that the creator of the Dragon Ball series had suddenly passed away shortly after we ushered in the Year of the Dragon. Of course, some may dismiss that as, a mere coincidence, and hey, do you. But like usual, I'm going to break this story down using the practice of English gematria. For those that might be new, gematria originates from Jewish mysticism, and it's an ancient practice utilized as a concealed code by those who understood its intricacies. English gematria involves encoding numbers into each letter of the 26-letter alphabet, assigning numerical values to words and phrases. These values are frequently intertwined with date numerology, revealing intriguing patterns that offer an alternative viewpoint on the narrative at hand. So with that said, let's get to know a little bit more about Mr. Toriyama. Hey yo, quick disclaimer, I'm probably gonna mispronounce some stuff, so bear with me here. Akira Toriyama was born on April 5th, 1955 in Nagoya, Aichi Prefecture, but was raised by his parents in Kiyosu, Aichi Prefecture, along with his older sister. In Kiyosu, where Akira spent his formative years, was then a largely rural area just outside Nagoya. Since young, he'd always had a passion for drawing and was influenced by the early productions of Disney. Akira's fascination with comics and cartoons was evident. However, as he entered his primary school years, his interest waned, shifting towards the allure of live-action movies, particularly westerns, war films, and science fiction, with little idea that he'd one day fuse the best of both worlds. Akira enrolled in a technical high school in Nagoya, eager to delve into the world of design and drawing. Despite his parents' wishes for him to pursue higher education, Toriyama made a bold decision after completing high school and decided to opt out of university and dive straight into the workforce. At the age of 20, Akira landed his first job as an in-house graphic designer at a modest advertising firm in Nagoya. However, the routine of the job began to wear on him, prompting his resignation just 2.5 years later. In 1977, Toriyama found himself in search of new opportunities when he stumbled upon the monthly Young Jump Award, a manga contest sponsored by Japan's largest manga publishing company. Entering the contest twice, Toriyama's submissions, A Wawa World in 1977 and Mysterious Rainjack in 1978, failed to secure victory. Despite the setback, a call from Kazuhiko Torishima, an editor at Shueisha's weekly Shonen Jump, breathed new life into Toriyama's aspirations. Encouraged by Torishima's words, Akira persisted and eventually had his breakthrough with Wonder Island, his first published manga, featured in Weekly Shonen Jump's issue 52 in 1978. Now, while it didn't immediately captivate audiences, Akira remained undeterred. The following year, Akira pitched several new manga projects only to face rejection. Despite this challenging period, a glimmer of hope emerged with minor success of Tomato Girl Detective in 1979, reigniting Akira's determination to succeed. In January of 1980, Akira Toriyama soared to new heights with his new manga masterpiece, Dr. Slump. Published in Weekly Shonen Jump from January 1980 to August 1984, the series catapulted Toriyama into the spotlight, spanning 18 tankobon volumes and garnering widespread acclaim. As Dr. Slump gained in popularity, Toriyama's mailbox overflowed with letters of encouragement from fans. During the years 1981 to 1984, he delved into creating numerous short comics, including the notable Pola and Roid, which earned him the title of the Best Shonen Jump Manga Artist in 1981. Additionally, Pink in 1982 further showcased his creative talent. Amidst his flourishing career, Toriyama found love. In 1982, while illustrating the wedding of Dr. Slump characters Senbei Norimaki and Midori Yamabuki, Toriyama himself tied the knot with shoujo manga artist Nachi Mikiyami. Following their marriage, Mikami stepped away from her own career. Again, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing these names. The accolades continued to pour in for Toriyama. In 1982, Dr. Slump clinched the prestigious Shogakukan Manga Award for the best shonen or shoujo manga series of the year, solidifying Toriyama's status among the top manga artists of his time. Akira's success also forged lasting connections. Among his peers, Masakazu Katsusura, who would eventually become one of Toriyama's closest friends and collaborator on various manga projects in the years to come. The hot streak would continue for Akira as he would end up striking gold once again, but this time it was with another manga series, which then became a global anime powerhouse under the name of Dragon Ball. But before Akira came up with that idea, he first started with a brief 1983 series titled Dragon Boy. Then just a year later, he'd release the first manga series for Dragon Ball. Encouraged by the success of Dragon Ball, Akira poured his heart and soul into the series for over a decade, from 1984 to 1995, across 519 chapters compiled into 42 10-kanbon volumes. He meticulously crafted a narrative spanning nearly 9,000 pages. This series would later make its appearance in the United States after its huge success in Asia, around September of '96, and it was a hit right out of the gate, eventually expanding into video games, action figures, movies, so it's fair to say that Akira managed to cover a lot of ground in his 68 years of life. With numerous awards and accolades already under his belt, Akira remained determined in his commitment to captivating his global audience with more animated series. During October of 2023, news surfaced on the Dragon Ball official website about the production of a new anime series titled Dragon Ball Daima. Daima, a term coined by Akira himself, loosely translates to evil in English. With fans excited, it seemed like things were on the up and up. However, as we now know, Akira will unfortunately no longer be here to witness the reactions of his dedicated fanbase to his latest creation.
The creator of Dragon Ball, one of the most influential and best-selling Japanese comics, has died at the age of 68. Akira Toriyama was 68. An official statement said he'd suffered a blood clot on the brain. Dragon Ball was first serialized 40 years ago.
On the 8th of March 2024, it was announced that the creator of the Dragon Ball series, Akira Toriyama, had died due to a brain injury by the name of acute subdural hematoma. Reading from the clevelandclinic.org, it states that acute subdural hematoma is the most dangerous type. The symptoms are severe and appear right after a head injury, often within minutes to hours. Pressure on your brain increases quickly as the blood pools. If you're not diagnosed and treated quickly, you could lose consciousness, have paralysis, or even die. After skimming through several headlines, I found no mention of him suffering from a head injury. Thus, it's probable that the incident occurred suddenly, and maybe they're trying to keep it under wraps. Others even suspect that it was due to the JAB and the side effects that come with it. So naturally, this raised suspicion among fans who perceived the situation as rather peculiar. Many left wondering if there's more to the story than meets the eye. Of course, many already spotted an interesting connection between the Year of the Dragon, beginning just 20 days before the death of the creator of the show, Dragon Ball, but using gematria, I'll point out some other interesting patterns surrounding his death, and I'll leave it up to you guys to make your own conclusions. First up, let's start with Akira's age of death. Akira died at the age of 68 years old, which I noticed had some connections to him as a person. For example, he's widely known as a Japanese manga artist, and for those that don't know, manga is basically the Japanese word for comic. It's interesting to note that this phrase holds the value of 68, which matches his age at the time of his death. Additionally, I found it odd that his team waited a week before publicly announcing his death, which coincided with March 8th, the 68th day of the year. March 8th is also an interesting day, granted it's written as 3/8, resembling 38, a number we'll touch on real soon. Still on the topic of his age, you could see that his full name, Akira Toriyama, equates to 92, matching the phrase animated series, which he's known for creating, and his age of death when spelt out as such. Next, upon looking at the day Akira passed away, it so happened to be the 61st day of the year. And what are the odds that his full name in the full reduction cipher otherwise referred to as the most pure cipher, equates to 61, along with the phrase animated series, which again we just discussed that he's most known for creating. Moving on, you could see how the word dragon equates to 31, which is similar to how the date he died is written, March 1st, written 3/1 in most parts of the world. But again, the kicker here is that he not only is known for his Dragon Ball series, emphasis on the word dragon, but he just so happened to die during the year of the dragon, something that only happens every 12 years, but hey, it could just be a wild coincidence, but I myself personally don't really believe in coincidences. Now, I was saying earlier how the date March 8th is interesting because of how it's written as 3/8, like the number 38, which if you're familiar with my channel, you know it's the death number, often appearing in these death headlines in some way, shape, or form. In Akira's case, the news of his death was announced on March 8th, and intriguingly, the word death in the ordinal cipher equates to 38. What's even more fascinating is that the first episode of his most impactful series, Dragon Ball, was released in Japan on February 26, 1986. Remarkably, the span of time from that initial release to his passing amounted to exactly 38 years. This calculation is far from arbitrary. It's rooted in the significance of the show's launch, making a monumental milestone in his career. These patterns often align with pivotal moments in the lives of influential figures, shedding light on the interconnectedness of events. I also noticed that the titles of his two major comic series both had a connection to the number 41 in the reduction ciphers, matching his first name Akira. But oddly enough, the Year of the Dragon began on February 10, 2024, which so happened to be the 41st day of the year. Yet another connection between Akira and the Chinese zodiac sign widely observed by the Japanese. Now, I couldn't think of a more fitting slide to end off on other than some pure numerology for the newbies out there. Now, this is something that we've talked about in the past, but in the Asian regions, the number 4 is widely known to be an unlucky number, mainly because of the similarities between the number 4 and the pronunciation of the word death. Whether it be Chinese Mandarin, Korean, Vietnamese, or Japanese, the pronunciation of the number 4 and death are very similar, giving it a bad omen. Unfortunately for the Japanese legend Akira Toriyama, he died on a date with 4 numerology, being March 1st, 3+1. Personally, I'm not too superstitious, but if you are, that might hit a little different for you. With that said, I gotta say RIP to Akira Toriyama. Although I ended up outgrowing my love for the animated series in my early teen years, the show always managed to find a way into my life through subtle references from friends, and who could ever forget the legendary power-up? I mean, shit, times were definitely simpler back then.
I know that's right.
But you guys know the drill. Be sure to drop your boy a like, share your thoughts in the comments, and let me know anything I might have missed. Make sure to share the video, and most importantly, subscribe, man. Remember, all of those things are free to do. It's been your boy Script, and I'm out of here. Peace. 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 Peace.